So how do you now define yoga, and what benefits does it offer? I mean, we've been hearing so much about yoga, different forms of yoga. People think it's, whether it's beneficial just physically or is more to it. So what benefits, if you can share some thoughts on that?
Oh, sure. I mean, yoga is a very, the translation of yoga is like yuj, is that Sanskrit word, which means your union. So, again, making it simple, it's a union first of a person within themselves. So, just being able to
Mhm.
find that balance within themselves. Or an alignment that we talk about through the different tools of yoga, and then, like you rightly said again, extending that union from within you to the external world. Yes, so connecting with
Right.
nature, connecting with the entire creation, I would say, but with harmony and in synchronicity. I
Hmm.
would say, yeah. So that's the big purpose of yoga. But why do people come to yoga and really to look at it in nitty gritty? There are different forms of yoga. Would you like me to expand on that now? Just
Absolutely.
a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Of course. Yeah,
Okay.
please.
So you see the traditional yoga, or I would say like the classical yoga, where all the different types of yoga come from, and there are many. I mean, you have an international audience, and I think the
Right.
last count we had, there are about maybe 500 types of yoga. So, you know,
True.
um, as let's take it back. So traditionally, it was documented about 1800 years ago, and the document is called the Patanjali Sutras. And
Hmm.
yes, these are like words of wisdom. They are about 195 sort of zip folders, and in that there are different ways of living life. So they are words of wisdom, but within that there is an expression, and one of the ways we explore is through the body. Yeah, this life
Right.
experience. So, however, having said that, it's not just the body. Yeah, so there's more to it. But Hatha yoga. Now, Ha sort of is more the sun energy, and Tha is like the moon energy. So, just from
Hmm.
these words itself, you're getting a union, you're getting an integration, you're getting an alignment from
Right.
it. So, that's what yoga is trying to do. This traditional form of yoga is, I would say, the foundation for anybody and everybody who is seeking yoga, whether you are young or whether you are old. It is suitable to most people as a broad
Hmm.
spectrum, and also suitable for beginners as well as people who have been doing it, because there's lots of flexibility of how you practice this yoga, and definitely it works on your strength. So hatha
Hmm.
yoga, I mean, the translation of hat means being stubborn. So we are being stubborn about this practice, and it's stubborn in a way where we're trying to get into a practice and keep that five senses distractions away. so so that's a
Right.
lot of words I've given you for hatha yoga. And then later on, a lot of there are different forms of yoga. They've all sprung from hatha
Hmm.
yoga. So popular today are vinyasa or power yoga. As you know, these days people like
Yeah.
a lot of power, like a lot of movement, like flow. And it's very good that this form of yoga has come about, and especially for teachers like us as well. It gives you
Hmm.
flexibility to a teacher to design your own routine, and there are lots of
Right.
routines you can make for your classes. So like you have hip
Hmm.
opener routines, you can have something for lower back strengthening routine, or just arms and legs strengthening routines, or just getting your strengthening of your spine, or you have twist routine. So there's a lot more flexibility
Right.
we can go do in vinyasa flow than in a hatha yoga class. And also it's probably suited for people who are more regular with yoga, because it can tend to be a bit more fast paced than
Hmm.
hatha yoga, which is more slow paced. But it's really, the slower you are, the more stability you are
Yeah.
able to get for yourself. But yeah, it's called athletic yoga. So that's
Yeah.
another form. And then there's a beautiful form of yoga, I would say, very different from these two, which is again quite popular across the globe, and we are offering all these type of yogas here as well, and that's
Hmm.
called the Yin Yoga. So
Hmm.
as you can appreciate from the word itself, the Hatha Yoga is the Yang Yoga. So it's like, we're
Right.
really building
Yin and
strength.
yang.
It's all about making, yeah, exactly. So we are making
Right.
effort there, and so we are focused. And whereas in this one, Yin Yoga, we are actually just the opposite. We are not using
Hmm.
any strength of the muscles. We are getting into a particular pose or a position or a movement with, of
Hmm.
course, the breath being an integral part of all of yoga. And then
Hmm.
we are staying in it for at least 2 minutes, 1 minute, and maybe for the more advanced people, they can stay in it for 5 minutes. So holding a pose creates a stretching or flexibility of the connective tissue around the joints. So
Right.
with that, the flexibility increases, but it's a slow process, you see. So I would
True.
say joint for Yin Yoga, muscle strength for Hatha Yoga, and
Hmm.
of course for having nice power and fire, the Vinyasa
Power
flow.
yoga.